Okay, so let's take care of the rest of the draft. We're doing the mocks 4 through 7 in this video. And guess what? It starts right now. Hey everybody, welcome back to another video here on the Washington Football Maniacs YouTube channel. My name is Greg. Thank you for joining us. If you're new here, really thank you for joining us. I try to put out videos on a regular basis. What does that mean? Well, it really means whenever that I have an opportunity to. I do try to put out videos on a weekly basis, 3 or 4 times a week. That said, let's get into today's video. So we're talking about the draft for the 2023 year for the Washington Commanders. We put out videos for rounds 1 through 3. This video, we want to take care of rounds 4 through 7. Instead of spreading it out, let's just take care of the rest of the draft. And so I just want to point out that, again, the one thing that I have been talking about in all these videos is that I really like the idea of best player available, because I feel like when you go with best player available, you're really building a higher quality team in each position. Now, it doesn't mean that you're going to go out and you're going to fill up, you're going to have like an overabundance of players in one position and then you're going to have nobody in other positions. I know that that's the thought process, but what it comes down to is when you're drafting and you're getting the best player available, it doesn't matter what position they're playing, they're the best player to be drafted at that point. And so you're getting higher quality. That's at least the concept. Now, it doesn't always work that way. Sometimes you're going to have some busts along the way, or you're going to have some injuries, and so that's just, in the end, yes, the draft can be a crapshoot. But overall, I feel like that is always the best approach, because eventually once you build out a high-quality caliber team, you've got some players that are just, they're a step above the rest. And then when you're a good team and you just need 1 or 2 pieces left, well, then what do? Then you make those blockbuster trades to get that one player you really need. You got the depth that you could trade for those players. Or then you can look into the draft and say, okay, this is an area of need. We're going to go after this player. But, other than that, that's the reason why I like going for best player available. So let's get into it. So round 4, the Washington Commanders are picking at number 119. And I think at 119, what I've read up on is that Washington Commanders, they are going to select a quarterback. Believe it or not, they are selecting the quarterback. Now, why are they selecting the quarterback? Well, they need a third quarterback, obviously. We have Sam Howell, who is right now, he's in that number 1 QB1 position, but he's going to get some battles from Jacoby Brissett. I always say brisket because right now I'm hungry. So Jacoby Brissett is going to be pushing them for that starting quarterback position, but we need a good solid number 3, and we need a developmental guy. I had a chance to watch Hendon Hooker out of Virginia Tech play. He's got some good skills. He's got a very good arm. He's going to throw some interceptions for you, so he's a very raw quarterback in my opinion. He's a guy who he's a developmental guy. 4th round, that's the round where it's like you can either get a guy who's going to be your starting quarterback, who's going to be, Pro Bowl type of player, or you're going to be a developmental guy. It is one of those things where you either get a Russell Wilson, or you get whoever, right? And so I think that Hendon Hooker is going to be one of those guys that is going to be a developmental guy. Um, but I think that it is smart for the Washington Commanders to try to get another young quarterback in there. Obviously, I don't see them getting a quarterback in the first round, but getting another young rookie in there makes a lot of sense to me. If we go into the fifth round, now the Washington Commanders, I believe they have two in the fifth round. They got a 151 that they're picking at, and then they're picking dead last at 183. So at 151, we're looking at the Commanders picking an offensive guard. Again, we're looking at depth. If this is the best player available, it's Richard Garage, I think is how you pronounce his Garage is how you pronounce his last name. Forgive me if I'm mispronouncing his last name. Now, this is not my pick, but again, you're looking at depth for the offensive line, and you're going to have these guys who are going to be on the practice squad. This is not someone who you're going to plug into the offensive line right away. This is somebody that you're going to stack back on the practice squad. Hopefully, you can develop because we get guys who are getting hurt a lot on the offensive line. You need that depth. You need some good young guys, and so I'm always a fan of picking, offensive line talent. I would rather look at Morris, Wenya Morris out of Tennessee, who's a tackle. I think we need more tackles because, especially looking at left tackles, we don't seem to have enough guys like that. I miss having a Trent Williams or Chris Samuels. I really miss having guys like that. But then we look at 183, and here's a mock draft saying that we're going to choose Corey Rucker out of Arkansas State, who's a wide receiver, who seems to fit more the mold of the Smurfs. Right, he's 6'1". It's not a very big guy at 190. Would I pick another wide receiver? I don't know. I think that Washington has plenty of wide receivers, but then again, if it's best player available, then okay. You have a wide receiver. Maybe he's somebody who could battle for a punt return position. The funny thing is, when we go into the fifth round, I see another mock draft that has us again looking at wide receiver from Virginia, Keaton Thomas. And, again, these are guys who are depth guys. Right now I think we're good with, obviously, who we have with, Terry McLaurin, Curtis Samuel, Jahan Dotson, and guys like that. I mean, those are your three big starters. So, I mean, maybe, possibly getting some more wide receivers. I don't know. I'm a fuddy-duddy when it comes to this. I just think that I'm looking at more of. I don't think you can go too much offense, or I think you can go too much offense. I would like to see a little bit more defensive picks. I would like to see some more linebackers picked at this. I'm not sure if it'll be a reach. Looking back and looking at maybe like Mohamed Diaby out of Florida. I wouldn't mind seeing him, but I think that would probably be a reach at 215. But then again, I'm trying not to go with the need here. I'm trying to go with best player available. So if Thompson is the best player available, then you certainly go with him in the fifth round. Or I'm sorry, sixth round. And then finally, the seventh round, we have pick number 233. And sixth round, we are looking at offensive tackle. And we're looking at Zion Nelson out of Miami. He's 6'5", 316 pounds. So, definitely a developmental guy. Um, but we are looking at a lot of offensive picks in this year's draft. And I don't know if that has to do with the fact that we have Eric Bieniemy that is basically going to have a lot of say so in the draft. That seems to be what a lot of people are having influences with mock drafts. For me, I go with best player available. So if it winds up being more offensive heavy, then so be it. But I would like to see maybe, I don't know, when you start to get into more of the latter rounds, um, if if for instance it makes more sense that you see a linebacker that's somewhere close to that pick, I would like to pick a linebacker. I just feel like that is an area, and it's weird how that is an area where I feel like that we haven't had a lot of depth at, and Ron Rivera and Jack Del Rio are both ex linebackers from the NFL. So it's crazy how that is, but that's what we're living in right now. So, um, again, I would like to not put my head into that frame of, oh, we need more linebackers. If they're available, that's what I hope. And they're the best choice at that point. I would choose that over more wide receivers. The quarterback choice, it is an interesting choice. Hendon Hooker, I have had some experience watching him play. I think he has. I think he's very streaky. Um, he didn't have a lot of success in Virginia Tech. So it remains to be seen what happens with that. But I'm kind of surprised he's a fourth round choice, honestly. Um, I could see him dropping into the fifth round. So, would I pick him in the fifth round? Maybe. But again, we could use a third quarterback. And, I think the way that the NFL is shaken out, they want teams to start dressing out three quarterbacks. So you definitely want three quarterbacks on your team dressed out and ready. So uh, I would look at a third quarterback. So there you go. Anyway, let me know in the comments section what you think. That is the draft. I don't devote a lot of time to doing mock drafts for my personal self. I look at other people's drafts. I kind of read up on why that they pick these folks, and then I kind of make my own decisions based on that. I let them do the leg work on that, and then I kind of, I guess, critique their picks, um, like I'm, some um, expert and all that. I just know that when it comes down to it, we're all going to be completely surprised by what the Commanders pick later on in all of the rest of these drafts. We may not be so much surprised in the first round, and then again we might, because this year obviously I don't know at all who we're going to pick at 16. In years past, I had a really good idea of who was going to fall to us because we were picking earlier and we kind of had an idea of who we were going to pick. But this year, I really do not know. I really do not know because a lot of mock drafts have had us picking, offensive guards, had us picking a running back, had us picking cornerbacks. So, you know, obviously, I don't think we're picking a quarterback unless for some strange reason one of those quarterbacks drops to 16, which I don't see happening. But I would be okay having a first round talent on the offensive line. And so if that happens, then great. That's the way that it shakes out. I think overall, a summary of all of these videos with the draft, first round talent, offensive line, second round, pick up a good pass receiving tight end. Third round, let's look at a linebacker. Fourth round, maybe we're looking at a quarterback. Fifth through 7th. Let's fill up some more depth with the offensive line. They're looking at wide receivers. I don't know if I agree with that or not. I would rather look at cornerbacks and things like that. So there you have it, folks. Let me know what you think in the comments section below. Hope you enjoyed this video. I know it got to be a little long in the tooth. It's 15 minutes long, so I apologize for it getting a little long, but hey, we had a lot to talk about. I'll see you in the next one. Take care.
Hey, you stayed until the very end. Thank you so much. Watch another one right now.